So, in today's linguistic lesson, we will finish the morphology basics with real examples. Beginning with the English plural allomorpheme. You see, the plural morpheme written s surfaces as three allomorphs. So we have s after voiceless consonants, for example, cats. And then we have ts after voiced environments, for example, dogs. And is or is after sibilant, for example, horses. The choice is phonologically conditioned, but morphologically constant. The plural morpheme has conditioned surface shapes. Next, the English past tense, ed or it. You see, similarly, the English past morpheme surfaces as t, for example, walked, or d, for example, played, or even it, for example, wanted, depending on the final sound of the stem. And then, derivation and category change. For example, happy as an adjective becomes a noun when we add ness, becoming happiness. So, happy and happiness. Here we have a derivation. The suffix ness changes the word class and contributes a predictable semantic function, the noun of the adjective. Templatic morphology with the Semitic roots. You see, Arabic stores meaning in consonantal roots, for example, k, t, b, which means bright. Oh, more specifically, it has the semantic field connected to right. So, inserting vowel patterns make related words. For example, kataba, he wrote. Kitab, book. Maktab, office. You see, the consonantal root k, t, b remains consistent, but in between, or even in front, we can add either different vowels or even consonants to change the words. And this non-concatenative morphology resists a simple prefix-suffix analysis and motivates specialized morphological models. Then we have acclamative case marking, for example in Turkish or Finnish. Here, words stack affixes, each with a single function. For example, Turkish evlerin, which means of the houses. Here we have house, and then the plural affix followed by the genitive affix, exemplifying transparent one-to-one morpheme to meaning mapping that is easy to parse and to model computationally. Then fusional morphology, for example Latin or Spanish. Here, single affixes encode multiple features simultaneously. For example, Spanish hablo encodes first-person singular present on the verb stem in one fused form, not easily separable into independent morphemes. Yet, I already talked about this as well as written about this in the Latin conjugation to show you this is not as complex as it might look. And then we have reduplication, for example in Indonesian or Tagalog. Here, repeating part or all of a word marks plurality, intensity, or even aspect. For example, in Indonesia, buku means book, and buku-buku means books, so plural via full reduplication. And then we have circumfixation. For example, German participle. You see, German forms past participles via a circumfix, G at the beginning and T at the end. For example, machen becomes gemacht, which by the way means made, wrapping a stem in two pieces at once, hence circumfixation. And the last example for this lesson, that is compounding and portemonnaie. You see, compounds like blackbird or basketball create new lexemes by joining morphemes. Portemonnaie morphemes fuse two meanings into one segment. So, these examples show morphology's variety, predictable alternations, irregular remnants of history, and rich word formation strategies. A good morphological analyst learns to read paradigms, test productivity, and ask whether a pattern belongs to the grammar, which would be rule or constraint, or to the lexicon, which would be the stored idiosyncrasy. So, keep an eye on paradigms. They are Morphology's map, and you will soon recognize the invisible scaffolding that languages use to build the world's words. It is, therefore, one of my favorite because it is one of the most important aspects in my language acquisition technique, as it allows me to have so many shortcuts, just because I know how to read patterns.